Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Here's just a quick video on the T33 before I fly it. I did a few mods to the airplane that I think really made a big difference visually and hopefully a little bit performance-wise. Not that it performs bad stock, but anyways, I just wanted to go over some of the mods that I've done to make this airplane look a little bit better. So, quick start off. At some point I'm going to repaint it, but I like the stock scheme, even though there's going to be a billion of them out there, and there already are. But I wanted to spice it up a little bit, so when I flip it over, I'll show you the bottom. But I got it dirty a little bit. I added a little bit of nomenclature. The biggest thing I did, though, and this is something that really bothers me about ARFs, and I'm real picky about it, just because I am, but the color of the stars and bars and also shape of stars and bars can be overlooked, or people just don't care, or they don't know what they're looking at, or whatever. But the color on the stars and bars when the model comes out of the box is a little on the light side, and there was something funny going on with the bars on one side. I don't know what that was all about. I don't know how that made it past people in production, but anyways, it looked kind of funny. And to me, it kind of ruins the look of a model. So what I did here is I've actually used the stars and bars from the Freewing F86. Now, even those stars and bars aren't 100% accurate, but the color is really good. And when I say not accurate, what I mean is I've shortened these. So the bars, when they come stock on the F86, they're too long. And it just looks funny. So you shorten them up about 1/4 of an inch. The way you do that is you slice them after you get them wet, and then you just move them over a little bit. You can kind of see right there how it's overlapped. That's all I had to do. So anyways, I did that, and when I show you the bottom, I'll show you how I put the decals on the bottom of the wing because they were left off for whatever reason. So yeah, that's kind of it visually on top. Added some weathering. I also painted the seats and the pilots a little bit. At some point, I'm going to put some Jet Hanger Hobbies pilots in here, but for now I'm just running the stock ones. I painted the cockpit black because I didn't like the gray look. Now, the next big mod, visually, I'll start at the back. So the other thing that really bothers me about the stock T33 is the really big exhaust. Now, T33 is a classic jet. I know it's hard to do scale because they had really small exhaust. But I decided to do a little bit of work to make it, it's not scale, but it's closer. It looks a little better in my opinion. So what I've done here is I've actually reduced the size of the exit, and I'll show you how I did it when I flip it over. But basically, after I cut a wedge out of the foam, pulled it together, it wasn't quite round, so I made a little like 1/8 inch plywood ring to help hold it round. And then this is a custom Mylar tailpipe. The exit is now 2.5 inches, which is about as small as you want to go. And the reason I did that was, one, for scale, but two, also, it'll be a little faster and require less power at cruise because the efflux is higher. Now, you do lose static thrust, so for guys flying off of grass, probably not a great idea. And also, this isn't a jet that you fly like an F-14 or an F-18, where you're doing a lot of like low speed, high G, high power type maneuvers. The T33 is flown like it should be flown. Smooth, fast, big open lines, just like the real one flies. So there's really no need for massive static thrust, like I said, unless you're flying off of grass. Now, the other thing that really bothered me about this model, it's a great model, don't get me wrong, I love it, it's beautiful, they did a wonderful job, but I'm real picky about stuff. So for me, when a plane is on the ground, when a model's on the ground, it just has to look right. For the same reason I did mods of the F-14. If it doesn't look right on the ground, it just looks like a toy, like it's not, I don't know, I have a hard time with it. But anyways, so what I've done here is the stock T33 sits real high in the back. It looks like a stink bug, the back end sticking up in the air. And obviously from the videos we've seen, you see that it rotates pretty well, but it just doesn't look right. Even though it sits nose down, doesn't harm the way the airplane lands or takes off. It might make it a little Easier to bounce like this because the nose gear is a little longer now. But what I've done here is I've changed the struts and the tires. So what I've done here is I've used Freewing Venom Struts and Freewing A4 tires on the mains, and then the nose gear, it's a Hanger 9 2.25. I had to grind the fork a little bit to get it to fit, but T33s have a real distinct look on the ground, and the nose tire is kind of big. They sit kind of squatty, they sit kind of low, and I think the changes that I've made makes it look so much better on the ground. To me, stance on the ground means a lot for a model. If it's not right, it just looks goofy. So anyways, I'm really happy with the airplane now. I haven't even flown it yet, but I'm super stoked with how it's turning out. It looks, not that it looks bad in stock, but if you guys know me, you know I like to spice it up a little bit. So anyways, that's the new the mods on top. Now let's flip it over and I'll show you guys the exhaust. Okay, now into the bottom. So here we see the Venom Strats. You do have to drill out the pinhole because it's too small, and you have to drill out this hole as well. And I also use some really soft springs so that way it basically collapses almost all the way. And you know, I got the speed brakes. So I've added some weathering on the bottom. These old jets leak like a sieve. They didn't take very good care of them. They just, especially trainers, they just use them like Jeeps, like trucks. So anyways, so I added the screen over the cheater hole because I fly for dirt and I don't want to ruin the fan. Another mod I've done here is I've actually used some monocoat trim sheet silver to cover up all the little slots everywhere. There's like little slots, little spots for when they build it to hold the spars in place, stuff like that. Same thing in the back. It's not a perfect match, but it looks better than an open slot. Just painted the control horns silver and stuff, and then painted inside the landing gear and the flaps and all that stuff interior green. And here is the close-up of the plywood piece in the back. I actually reused the little plastic piece back here, the scrape piece, whatever you want to call it. Keeps the foam from getting messed up if you nick the tail. So I ended up having to trim a little bit, so I just used some monocoat trim sheet for now because I didn't feel like spackling it and painting it and all that stuff. But let me grab the little piece of foam that came out of there. All right, so here is the piece of foam that I took out. It is 0.8 of an inch wide at the back, and obviously down to 0 up front, and it starts right here. One thing you'll notice, if you're going to do the mod, when you cut it, the line is basically vertical at first, and then it has to stay perpendicular to the surface, if that makes sense. So that way when you pull the halves together, it fits properly. I just use CA glue and kicker, and then I just CA'd this little ring back here. And like I said, I made my own little Mylar tailpipe. Extra decals from the F-86. There's some other nomenclature I'm going to use as well from the Sabre, just to kind of spice it up a little bit. Yeah, here's the decals on the bottom. Much better. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the mods. It's 100% ready to fly. I'm super stoked. I can't wait to fly it. My friend Justin did the same retract mods as me. We both kind of did them together, not at the same time. He lives far away from me, but we kind of planned it all out and put our minds together to come up with this stuff. So he's running the same strut setup, and he also just did the tailpipe mod. And he went and flew it this morning and reported that it flew awesome. It's a little faster, has better cruise, which is all the things that I was expecting it to do. But yeah, it turned out great. Super pumped to fly it. Wait till the end of the video. I got just a little video of it taxiing around on the street. Kind of shows you how the stance of the airplane is on the ground and how much better it is over the stock. So anyways, hopefully soon we'll be doing a video that's flying. I am going to get to the video where I talk about doing maidens. I'll do that very soon. But yep, there she is. She is ready to go and looking killer. Until next time, we'll see ya. Thanks for watching.